Welcome to the Trail Boss Squad. My name's John, and we're shining the light of Christ one ride at a time. And in this hand, I've got what is possibly the cheapest lift kit that you can get for this Silverado, and fairly easy to install as well. But there's a big warning here. You do not want to put these on without first upgrading these. So many tires have completely fallen off, especially on the Trail Boss models, when you add an additional lift to your Silverado front end or a leveling kit, really like this is. You really want some upper control arms to better handle the new angle your suspension geometry will be at. And thanks to the sponsor of this video, Flashark, we've got some heavy duty options, guys. Not only will this beef up our UCAs, our upper control arms, but it'll also make them where we can even service them and grease them up, which you cannot do with the factory arms. And so in this video, we're going to lift this thing up 2 inches. We're going to put these upper control arms on, and I'm going to walk you through each and every step. So thank you, Flashark, for hooking us up. Let's get this Silverado even higher in the air. All right, let us start with these upper control arms. Guys, I promise you, you do not want to lift your truck up without a new set of these, especially if you've got the Trail Boss. The Trail Boss comes with a factory 2-inch lift, which is really almost at the maximum for those upper control arms. And so you really need some upgraded beefy ones like these from Flashark. Now, they're packaged extremely great. Like I showed you in the intro, these upper ball joints can be greased up. We won't grease them until after we install them, though, just because we don't want any extra grease to come out under load. We want it to be under load when we do it. It even comes with the brake wire bracket here on both sides, so we can keep our factory kind of wiring the way it should be. We've got some really nice linkage here. I mean, these things are just built solid. And when I get the factory one off, I will show you, the comparison, and it's going to be quite a bit of difference. And so we are going to put really a 2-inch level in the front and a 1-inch level in the back, which really ends up making it a 2-inch lift in the front and a 1-inch in the back. But these things are super sturdy. Got the Flashark logo. I don't know if you can tell, but it even has what side it should go on. So that one says R, and the other one has it printed on it, L. So we're going to get these in. We are going to have to take out our coilovers. Shouldn't be too terribly difficult. We are going to jack the truck up, pull those out, put these in, and then before we put our coilovers over, or when we put our coilovers back on, we'll put the lift on. I'm going to show you what we're putting on as a lift. All right, and so here we go. We've got some 3-inch blocks for the back. The Trail Boss comes with a 2-inch block stock, so this will raise the rear up an inch. And then we've got these blocks for the front. These will go in between that bottom shock and where they hook up to the frame. And so instead of it just attaching, this will go in between it. And we got some new bolts for this. I'm not a big fan of the pucks that go on top because a lot of times you have to actually cut off your stock hardware as far as your studs. I definitely don't want to do that. You got to twist the top of it around. That's a lot of work. And so we're just going to just make sure that we are putting this in between our bottom shock, and it will accomplish that 2-inch lift just like we want. And we'll have these to make sure that we're safe as well with these brand new ball joints and these upper control arms. So you could get all this probably for less than $300, and you can have really a 2-inch lift and also have these upgraded upper control arms. I don't know if you can really get a cheaper lift than this. And so this is everything you need. So let's go ahead. I'll show you. I probably won't go in excruciatingly deep detail on how to do this. There's so many better people that have done it over me, but I will show you the basic process. Okay, so we've got our wheel off. First thing we'll do is remove this line. We've got a 10mm here. We've got one right here, and then one on, hopefully you can see that on the back that we'll need to get off. And we will also remove this one here as well, also a 10mm. And just a little trick, once you pull everything off, take your screw and just put it right back in the hole so you don't have to go find it later. All right, next we want to go ahead and remove the upper control arm right here using an 18, and it'll definitely help if you got one of these big bad boys right here. It's kind of hard to get on it, but I got it on there, so let's see if we can get it. All right, once we get that loose, we'll come down here and take off the bolts on our bottom strut. This is actually where we'll put our lift spacer on. And so instead of this sitting right there, it will sit on top of that spacer, and we'll use those new bolts when we do it. Next, we've got 3 nuts on top. Already started this one. You're gonna need 18 millimeter. 2 up front are pretty easy. There is one in the back we'll have a little fun with. Definitely helps if you have our ratcheting wrench. I've got this plastic thing above mine. Just stuck this under there and popped it out of the way. That way I could get to them. So take these 3 out now. All right, so we got all those off. That back one was a pain because I didn't have an 18 millimeter. I only had this 3/4. I did all right for the 2 front, but it just would not work for that back. So I had to get that thing out by hand. I'm gonna run to the store and get an 18 millimeter ratcheting wrench before I come back, because that took 20 minutes to get that thing out. So can you do it with a regular wrench? Yeah, but gosh, you sure don't want to. Ball joint off with an 18 millimeter. All right, now it's just time to pull this coilover out. We're just gonna lift it up, maybe kind of turn it to the side so it can fall through this bottom part, and we can get to the upper control arm. All right, so now it's time to remove the upper control arm. You're going to need a 21 millimeter, one for each side. I don't have a 21 millimeter wrench, but I do got a crescent wrench. So I'll put it on that side, and then I will ratchet it with the 21 millimeter on that side. All right, got those out. This one wasn't hard at all. That one's a little tight, but really wasn't bad. Still, the hardest part was that, because I didn't have a ratcheting wrench. So once you get both these out, should just kind of tug out of there, and hey, we're almost done. Now that we've got them both side by side, you can really start to see the difference. One thing you can tell is the difference in angles. Since we're going to put on a lift, we want this thing to be at a different angle so it will keep all the geometry correct. And this one just will only do so much good. You can see this little ball joint here compared to this monster one here. We can see that this is really just a kind of a flat frame welded together there in the middle. This is a big tubular monster. So even here we can see quite a bit more bulk. It's better than in every way, and this is what's going to keep our tire on. Of course, this isn't serviceable, so if this thing runs out of grease, it's just dry as a bone. Where this one, we can pop that cap off and grease it. We'll probably do that with every oil change. Also, these come with a spot to put that bracket on too. So that definitely makes it a whole lot easier. So guys, let's go ahead and put this new big bad one on, and we'll put our lift on too. Okay, so we're just going to basically do all that in reverse order. We're going to put this on. That looks really nice. And we'll use our same hardware that we had, put it right back on the way it was, and tighten it up. All right, now that we've got our new one in place, and I like to try to, when I tighten it up, have this sitting up fairly high, because once you get on there, it's hard to move around. And so we want to try to get it lined up as good as we can right now. Now we'll go ahead and just grab our strut and we'll put it back in there. And we may start the screws at the top, and we may feed them through at the bottom, but not before putting our spacer in. And before putting this back in, we're going to take off these little brackets, because we're not going to use them anymore. We'll get a little screwdriver and pop them off. Our new bolts that were provided with the kit will go down instead of up. All right, so for this lift that we are installing, we will have this bracket here. We'll just pick this up and put it right there, and we will feed it through. Now, we might have to line up our holes a little bit better up here so we'll have some space. There, plenty of room now. And just feed these long bolts in. All right, so once you get those tight, you can do it in a couple different ways. We've got that just kind of loose. I'll tighten it up once we get some of this other stuff started. We'll probably just go ahead and attach this knuckle back, and we'll attach this one back down here. I actually needed another jack to kind of push this bottom one up, just so I could get that in place there. So I've got the nut started. I'll tighten it up in a minute. I want to get this on before I do that, because this also wouldn't really reach. All right, it is all back together. Got me an 18-inch ratchet. That way I didn't have to fight that thing. It was so much easier. Got one with the swivel end. Definitely just do yourself a favor. Just get one of these. Just don't even play around. All right, and that Flashark looks good. Let's go ahead and get the wheel back on. All right, for the back, we're going to go ahead and jack this up just enough to be able to put a jack stand underneath our axle back here. That way when we let it down, it's kind of just locked into place. Keep our axle from rolling around. Then we are going to, these 4 bolts right here, use a 22mm socket to pull all those off. We're also going to take our shock off, also with a 22mm. Then we will actually let the jack off. We're going to come and put it underneath this leaf spring right here. And when we do that, we'll jack it, and it will actually separate. And this block that you see below this leaf spring, we want that to have some clearance. That way we can pull it out and put our bigger one in. And so when we jack the leaf spring, it will push that off of it, and then we can put our new ones on. All right, jacked this up where I can get this on. Now when I release the jack down, it will really kind of be laying on that. That'll keep my axle from rolling around. It's kind of stuck where it's going to be. Now we'll take our jack. Like I said, we'll put on this leaf spring right there. But first, let's loosen up these bolts. All right, so I have got that leaf spring jacked over there, and this is our block. We can just pull it out. We can actually compare it to the new one. We can see that our new one is bigger. So, I mean, I guess you could do that, but I don't know how safe that would be. You need some longer U-bolts. But there is a little bit of a taper to these, and the taller part goes towards the back. And there's a little button hole that fits into. And then there's a little button right up top that'll fit in the top of that. So now we'll take our U-bolts and put them in, and there's little ridges right there on both sides that your U-bolt will fit through, and it will kind of like lock this into place as well. Alright, so I have slid our new U-bolts in. They're in the top brackets there. I'll show you. Or try to. So they're both kind of in their space. And then they both kind of feed through a specific way. And an easy way to test if you've got it right is we're going to reuse this. So you can just put it back up on there. When I did the other side, the back ones were kicked out a little bit because I didn't have them, fed through the right way. But you can kind of see how it locks that block into place. So we're going to go ahead and put our hardware on. Probably have to let the jack down a little bit just to get it on there, because there's a washer and a nut, and then we'll start tightening everything up. All right, when you're doing this, make sure that there's no space right here, because if that little button doesn't go in quite right, there'll be just a little space. There was for me, so I just jacked it up a little bit, kind of rocked the truck back and forth, let it down, and you could hear it kind of pop into place. So no gap anymore. Now the fun part is these are 22mm nuts, but I do not have a 22mm ratcheting wrench, and I don't have a 22mm deep socket, so I have to use a crescent wrench. And I did it on the other side, and it took a while. So do your favor if you're doing this, get you a 22mm, probably just a 22mm ratcheting wrench. Of course, you could always hit it with the impact too. But that's all I'm going to do. Tighten these in a crisscross pattern, just because we don't want one side tighter than the other. And I'll jack this thing up, try to get the shock back lined up. The instructions said take off the shock. I'm kind of curious if you really needed to, but I did anyway. You could try not to if you want. But we're just going to tighten these up in a crisscross pattern, and we'll be done. And there is your finished product. I've got another inch in the back. Looks And that will do it, guys. That's the install. I know it wasn't the most detailed video ever, but I hope that you still got a lot of good information. And what a transformation, guys. The new upper control arms from Flashark look absolutely awesome. They look better than the stock, and they also are better than the stock. A lot more beefier, and that'll definitely give us that protection we need since we put those 2-inch spacers on the front of our ride. Plus, of course, we put on the 3-inch blocks in the back too, which these upper control arms don't really have anything to do with, but I didn't want a perfectly level look. I wanted it all raised up just a little bit, and this surely did it. Guys, these are an excellently affordable option to keep your ride safe when you lift it. Thank you, Flashark, for sponsoring this video. So, some final thoughts. This install really wasn't too bad. But what makes the difference is having the right tools. And the top of the coilover with those 3 bolts, that last bolt in the back, really gave me fits with just a regular wrench. But once I got the ratcheting wrench with the folding end, guys, it made it a breeze. And so it took me 20 minutes to get it off, and only took me about 45 seconds to put it back on. When I did this side, which I didn't show you on the video, it had even a little more room than that one. And with that wrench, it didn't take any more time than the ones in the front. And so definitely get that. One thing I do wish I would have had is probably the deep socket 22 millimeter or a 22 millimeter ratcheting socket, just so I didn't have to, on those back blocks, use that crescent wrench. But besides that, guys, everything went smooth. I didn't have any issues. Everything fit just right. Flashark really knocked it out of the park, guys. And I really think that if you're looking to beef up your front end, they're the place to go. And don't forget, Jesus loves you so much he died for you, and all the honor and glory goes to God. Good night, good trails, and God bless.